It's terrific to be back together as we look ahead with great anticipation to the upcoming ACC football season. And thank you for making the effort to come to Charlotte and taking an interest in our outstanding football student athletes and coaches. It's been a pleasure getting to know you over the last 18 months, and I'm grateful for our ongoing relationships. The entire ACC family and those associated with this tremendous league have been so wonderful to me, Laura, and our 5 children. I'm fired up that Laura's here, our oldest Luke is here, and our youngest, so the engine of the train and the caboose are both with us. So Luke and James, great to have you here with me and everyone else in attendance. In the days ahead, I look forward to spending time with you. As much as we can talk about ACC football, I'm ready. It remains my belief there is no better conference in the country when you combine our incredible student athletes, world-class institutions, broad-based sports offerings, and our commitment to maximizing the educational and athletic opportunities for students. The leadership at our 15 schools remains second to none, and I'd like to thank the ACC Board of Directors, led by Duke President Vince Price, the athletic directors, faculty athletic reps, and senior women's administrators, who continue to build upon the ACC's long history of balancing academics, athletics, and integrity at the highest levels. In a few minutes, we'll look ahead to the upcoming football season, and I'll make sure to address some of the topics in the news recently. Right now, though, let's look back at the phenomenal year it was for the ACC. No other conference won more NCAA national championships than the ACC. The league's 7 titles matched the conference's record in an academic year. Additionally, ACC student athletes won 20 NCAA individual titles. Beyond the 17 championships, 8 additional ACC programs competed in the national semifinals, 2 for a national championship, and 3 teams had to face another league team in either the semifinals or finals. Over the entire academic year, 12 of our schools captured either an ACC or NCAA title, and 11 programs finished ranked either first or second in the country in their respective sports. Academically, the ACC continues to lead the country. For the 15th consecutive year, the league has led the way among all football bowl subdivision conferences in best colleges rankings by U.S. News and World Report, with 3 schools ranking in the top 25 and 7 in the top 40. In December, the NCAA released its annual graduation success rates, which also demonstrated the ACC's collective high level of academic success. Beyond the competitions in classrooms, the league's ongoing work in racial and social justice, health and safety, and professional development continue to shine. In September, our league announced the inaugural ACC Unite Award, which will be presented annually and was created to honor individuals affiliated with the league who have made an impact in the areas of racial and social justice. An initiative of our Committee for Racial and Social Justice, which we affectionately call CORE, the inaugural recipients included the first male and female athletes of color to integrate the athletic teams at each of our 15 institutions. The league's commitment was also highlighted during the 2nd annual Fall, Winter, and Spring Unity Weeks, which provides a meaningful way for the conference to highlight our collective commitment as part of CORE's mission. Culminating the CORE initiatives for the year was the truly transformational and educational experience that took place this past weekend. More than 45 ACC student athletes, administrators, and conference office staff took part in a journey to 2 of the centers of the civil rights movement in Selma and Montgomery, Alabama. This amazing experience was highlighted by a march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, site of the 1965 Bloody Sunday attack. It's hard to describe the powerful emotions felt throughout the entire weekend. To be certain, it was a humbling experience and a career highlight. to receive a key to the city from Mayor Selma James Perkins. It was most comforting to me, though, to be surrounded by our younger generation who is committed and energized to carry on the necessary work in pursuit of true equality. This past May, the ACC Health and Safety Summit was held in partnership with the ACC Sports Medicine Association, bringing together our campus professionals to collaborate and share best practices. It was an outstanding event that not only benefited the attendees, but more importantly, will have a positive impact on our 10,000 student athletes. To further raise awareness of mental health and wellness, we used a series of 28 men's and women's basketball games as part of the 2021 ACC Big Ten Challenge to amplify the importance of mental health and to help break down stigmas related to it. Additionally, the ACC provided access to the Calm meditation app to every student athlete, coach, and administrator in the league. The ACC's responsibility to enhance the overall development of our student athletes and coaches was evident through a series of programs this year. In December, the first cohort of Coaching the Whole Athlete Academy was completed. The 8-week virtual immersive development program established by our office equips coaches with tools to better support the modern-day student athlete. The ACC's Professional Development Academy finished up a few weeks ago and featured student athletes coming together as a part of a 4-week program. The Academy's curriculum, designed and delivered by league administrators, assisted participants in establishing and refining skills for long-term success in their lives. As you can surmise, there's no greater priority than the success and development of these brilliant student athletes. We remain committed to our mission of providing the highest quality experiences and opportunities for them, as well as for our coaches and staff. As everyone is aware, student athletes have rightfully been able to earn money related to their name, image, and likeness over the past year. It has provided some outstanding opportunities that we all celebrate. However, the lack of a single enforceable standard for NIL across the schools in all states has created an environment where inducements, inaccurately labeled as NIL, are disrupting recruiting. Fair regulation of recruiting is essential for fair competition. We all know NIL has upended recruiting, a result no one desired when it first came into effect last July. How did it happen? NIL rules differ from state to state. Regulation is nearly non-existent. Enforcement of the rules is incredibly challenging. The ACC student athletes that make up our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, who are here in the room today, continue to engage with members of Congress on finding a regulatory solution that is national in scope and fair while still allowing for outstanding opportunities. I'd like our SAC group to stand up and be recognized this morning, if you will, please. As state legislators continue to seek recruiting advantages and as legal challenges continue to chill the enforcement of rules, only Congress can provide consistent standards and the appropriate protection to implement what is ultimately passed. As you all know, June 23rd marked the golden anniversary of Title IX, and there's no question that historic legislation has positively impacted the lives of women and provided a pathway in their continued support of achieving gender equity in college athletics. We are proud to recognize and celebrate Title IX during the upcoming year, while also understanding that we have an ongoing responsibility to continue to further fairness and equity for women. For Laura and I, our daughter Meredith, a current college soccer student athlete, is a true beneficiary of this historic law. And I think a lot of you know my background, being raised one of 10 children. I had 6 older sisters that never had the opportunity that our young women have a chance now. As a conference, we're 1 year away from sponsoring 28 league sports with the addition of ACC women's gymnastics in 23-24. Our conference will sponsor 15 women's sports and 13 men's sports. Among our peer conferences, no league will sponsor more sports, and perhaps more importantly, we will lead in the number of women's offerings in the ACC. Broad-based programs and opportunities matter in college sports. As I mentioned earlier, our league continues to be blessed with tremendous leadership, and for the first time in ACC history, the chairs of the FARs, ADs, SWAs are all females. In addition, with 3 females leading their respective athletic departments, the ACC has more female ADs than our peer conferences combined. While we are certainly excited to be leading the way, there's still so much work to be done. Yet at a time when we are celebrating the gains in women's participation, we are also defending those gains from real or perceived threats in college athletics. College athletics has faced criticism by some who forget that we field teams beyond football and men's basketball. College athletics happens within the context of higher education, on campuses that pride themselves on diverse offerings academically and in extracurriculars. Those who clamor for a pay-for-play system alone disregard the collegiate principles of diverse offerings. For decades, we have relied on the financial power of 2 sports that generate revenue to fund themselves as well as other sports, commonly referred to as the Olympic sports. Many of those Olympic sports student athletes only path to college is through sport, yet they leave enriched for life. Our nation relies on these sports to fulfill spots on Team USA, which had nearly 80% current and former collegians on its last Summer Olympics roster. What happens to those gains from Title IX if Olympic sports cannot be supported? What happens to the Olympic movement that makes us all proud if those on-campus opportunities disappear? These are hard questions that must be considered as college athletics continues to change and evolve. College athletics is not perfect. It should and will be improved, but there has never been a better time to be a student athlete than right now. Having 2 in our own home, I think Laura and I see that firsthand. The future is bright, but we need to be diligent and stay focused as we address the threats to what is the sporting envy of the world, the uniquely American combination of academic and athletic development that is college sports. True NIL opportunities, universal support services related to academics, medical care, mental health, career development outside of sport, and the best coaches, facilities for their athletic development. Fundamentally, we are all responsible for the greater good of the enterprise. Let me repeat that. We are all responsible for the greater good of the enterprise. 500,000 student athletes. College athletics lives at a 3-way intersection of competition, education, and entertainment, and all 3 must exist in a balanced way. Education matters, winning matters, resources matter. The ecosystem is not dissimilar to our respective neighborhoods that we live in, and keeping them healthy and diverse is a priority. And there will always be a variety of communities, gated, upper class, middle class, or more modest. In times of great change, and that's a fair description of the last 25, 15, 10 years, and really the last 12 months, any new structure in the NCAA must serve many, not a select few. This includes national governance, media rights, membership, NCAA, CFP access, the list goes on and on. We are not the professional ranks. This is not NFL or NBA light. We all remain competitive with one another. But this is not and should not be a winner-take-all or a zero-sum structure. College athletics has never been elitist or singularly commercial. It's provided countless individuals with a path to higher education and therefore life-changing possibilities, access, opportunity, and a modern rules-based structure should all remain a priority as we continue to evolve. I will continue to do what's in the best interest of the ACC, but will also strongly advocate for college athletics to be a healthy neighborhood, not a 2 or 3 gated communities. Resources may be different, but access, education, and competitive opportunity will remain the foundation going forward. From 1975 to 1985, the NCAA men's basketball tournament grew both financially and in popularity as it moved from 32 to 64 teams. This resulted in an event that continues to be embraced by college fans, media, student athletes, and coaches. We must acknowledge that this is a recipe and lesson college football may want to learn from, but do it in a way that is safe for those who play that sport. Access to championships is essential for all neighborhoods. We should keep this in mind as we try to balance education, competition, and entertainment in today's disruptive environment. As for ACC football, the reason nearly 700 of us have gathered, we welcome 4 new coaches into the league. Duke's Mike Elko, Miami's Mario Cristobal, Virginia's Tony Elliott, and Virginia Tech's Brent Pry. I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know each of them, and they are terrific additions to our outstanding group of coaches. As of today, we're only 5 weeks away, nearly 5 weeks away from kickoff. Week 0 kicks off for the ACC on August 27th, and from the 27th through Monday, September 5th, ACC football programs will play 14 games in 10 days, including 12 games over 5 straight days beginning Thursday, September 1st through Labor Day. It will be quite a weekend for our conference, and I'm going to try to make every one of those games. The ACC's non-conference football scheduling continues to be the strongest in the country, with our teams playing 21 games against Power 5 opponents, 8 non-conference games against teams ranked in the final 2021 Associated Press Top 20 poll, and all 14 teams will play 1 Power 5 non-conference opponent, with 7 of our schools playing 2. There's no shortage of exciting games this season, and we appreciate our amazing television partners providing national platform for our fans. Speaking of television partners, we were thrilled in December to celebrate full distribution, making ACC Network available to nearly 90 million households. It was something we talked about right in this room last year, which was a real big concern for us. It was a milestone moment in the short history of the ACCN, and we appreciate the ongoing leadership at Disney, ESPN, and ACCN, especially Jimmy Pitaro and Burt Magnus. In partnership with the ACC Network, there continues to be a priority to increase football programming year-round. ACCN made its first ever road trip last August, visiting each football program on their respective campuses, resulting in 14 primetime shows featuring interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, tour of the facilities, and more. In a few weeks, ACCN will embark on this year's road trip, delivering even more access to our schools and amazing student athletes and coaches. ACCN's premier football program, The Huddle, took to the road last year with appearances on multiple campuses, the Subway ACC Football Championship game, and at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl down in Atlanta. This year, we are pleased to announce the ACC Huddle will be back on the road during the 2022 season. It will begin on week 0 in Chapel Hill, week 2 in Blacksburg, with several other additional stops around in the weeks and months ahead in the football season. During the offseason, ACC Network added significant football content, including a 2-hour primetime show to unveil the 2022 football schedule, the addition of all 14 spring games for the first time, and exclusive coverage of both signing days and our pro days, all firsts. We are thrilled that these initiatives will be ongoing and enhanced this year. In addition to the already celebrated priorities and successes, ACCN will launch a new afternoon show that will air weekdays. ACC PM, hosted by Mark Packer, who's going to be coming out of the Witness Protection Program since he last aired at the end of June, will debut from 4 to 7 on Monday, August 22nd. The show will have a football focus and deliver news and commentary from across the conference on a variety of areas. The ACC continues to work to enhance, elevate, and best position ACC football for the long term, and we have made progress in a number of areas. We appreciate deeply the tremendous work of our head football coaches, athletic directors, who give freely of their time to collaborate on football-specific matters. Those were 2 new groups that we started last year. Between the joint AD, head football coach subcommittee, and our football officiating subcommittee, we are constantly in connection with our programs and provided with tremendous insights. On the national level, the ACC has been significantly involved in changes that have been made, including deregulation of conferences' football championship games, starting preseason camp earlier without adding practices to enhance the health, safety, and welfare of our football student athletes, adjustments to the signing limit and initial counters to give our coaches more flexibility in filling a complete roster of 85 scholarships. And as was announced this spring, Pitt AD Heather Like has been named the chair of the NCAA Football Oversight Committee, furthering the league's national leadership position. There's also been ongoing and meaningful work and dialogue among ACC head football coaches, ADs, compliance directors, and probably most important, team physicians regarding a 365-day college football calendar that was shared with all 10 FBS conferences in Notre Dame earlier this year. We appreciate the conversation that continued to take place among our peers as we gather feedback to further refine the proposal and ultimately come together across all 10 FBS conferences and Notre Dame to find the right model that best positions college football at the FBS level. We look forward to the ACC football season culminating here in Charlotte with the 2022 Subway ACC Football Championship game. For a final time under the current scheduling model, the champions of the Atlantic and Coastal divisions will meet on the first Saturday in December at Bank of America Stadium, and we remain extremely appreciative of our relationship with the Charlotte Sports Foundation and the Carolina Panthers. Following our championship game weekend, we will continue to celebrate postseason with our 11 remarkable bowls that are here with us today. The Capital One Orange Bowl anchors our partnerships, and we are so proud of the memorable experiences bowls provide. College football bowls and bowl season matters to the ACC and the health and future of college football. Before providing some final comments related to the national landscape, let me highlight our recently announced ACC football scheduling model that begins next season and runs through 2026. The new model will include each team playing 3 primary opponents every year while facing the other 10 league teams twice during the 4-year cycle, once at home, once on the road. This will eliminate the Atlantic and Coastal divisions. I know some of you are very sad about that. With the top 2 teams now based on conference winning percentage competing in the Subway ACC Football Championship game. Overall, the future scheduling model provides significant enhancements for our schools and conference. But the most important being for our student athletes having the opportunity to play every school, both home and away, over a 4-year period. In closing, let me briefly address a few other topics. The ACC continues to be supportive of an expanded college football playoff. As you know, the ACC took what we believe was a necessary stance regarding last fall's CFP proposal. This was based on what we feel we must all come together to address before rushing into a new model. The implementation of a 365-day calendar, health and safety, and several other items that you know well. Engagement is ongoing with our schools and my fellow commissioners to chart a path forward prior to the expiration of the current CFP contract in 2026. We had 2 great meetings in April and in June. And I'm confident that our concerns and others' concerns will be addressed, and a new model with greater access will ultimately come to pass. We will do our part in the ACC to make it happen, but there's some more work to be done. It's been an honor to serve as a member of both the NCAA Constitution and Transformation Committees. Following the Constitution Committee's work from last August through January, the Transformation Committee then began its diligent work. We are in the process of examining many aspects of Division I college athletics, from championships to the role of the NCAA, from the infraction process to membership criteria. As you know, the committee has already made public several recommendations, and we expect more in the months ahead that could significantly change what we do and how we do it. This includes prioritizing the areas that involve the enhancement of the student-athlete experience, streamlining the NCAA rulebook, modernizing transfer rules, and implementing a timelier process in dealing with infractions cases. It's a privilege to serve alongside NC State Chancellor Randy Woodson on the Transformation Committee, and I'm proud that the ACC has a seat at the table in helping shape what comes next. Of course, the recent announcement of 2 Pac-12 schools pending move to the Big Ten in 2024 set off a flurry of conversations both inside and outside of our league. While I won't go into details of those conversations, I will tell you that while the ACC is strong, we are continually evaluating all options that could further strengthen our conference, and we are engaged in ongoing dialogue with our media partners. There's been a lot of rumors and speculation the last few weeks, and I understand we all want answers and certainty. With that said, these decisions will impact our member institutions and student athletes for years to come, and all options must be carefully evaluated. But today is all about ACC football, and I cannot wait for you to meet and speak with our outstanding schools, coaches, and student athletes. We have an exciting season ahead, as I've stated this morning, and I just want to again thank you again for your interest in the ACC and for your giving up some of your summer to be here in Charlotte. With that, I'm happy to take some questions.